have come into this series as the underdogs against Fnatic, but they have come in as the lower bracket kings so far, and they are still on that throne. G2 find themselves at match point. I think you got king on your bingo card, that's why I said it anyway. They're up now on match point, 2-0 over Fnatic so far. But credit where credit is due, right? Broxah, we did see a different side of Fnatic coming into this game.
Oh, for sure. I think Fnatic made some pretty good adaptations coming into this game. They were more proactive, more aggressive. They found some openings in the early game, but in the end, G2 were just completely on point. Like the G2 that we've seen this series, the previous two series, they're looking very strong, and Fnatic are going to have to bring their A game now to even have a chance.
Yeah, and I thought it kind of looked all right from the early stages, right? We're getting a lot of back and forth, and honestly, I was kind of like, okay, well, as long as Razork can kind of keep Jankos in check, you look at like Xayah, 3 items, you look at the Aphelios, 3 items, like, that's going to be your win condition for this, but it just felt like eventually, once we got to that mid-game, that's where G2 were able to power home.
We also saw a lot of kind of individual outplays, right? And really tries from both sides to outplay when it came to an engage and whatnot. I want to pull up the mid lane fight we saw 6 minutes into the game, which for me could have really gone either way. Caps with the fancy feet. Talk me through this one, Dagda.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this is kind of, again, like trying to see if you can get control of Jankos. That's why you're looking at Fnatic trying to get into this bot side jungle. And they do manage to get Jankos, but the problem is that you already look at the bottom lane of G2 that's starting to move up to match this play. And this is where the wheels start to fall off the cart, as Caps does a really good job of kind of keeping Fnatic interested for longer than they really want while the bot lane shows up.
Yeah, and I think just in general, this is kind of what has been happening in both of these games so far, that even when Fnatic make a proactive play, G2 are ready, G2 are there, they're on point, they counter the play, and then they come out on top in the end. And Fnatic are starting to make the right moves. It's just, you know, we need a little more.
Yeah, I like the way you say that. They need to do a little more. And also, it's high time, right? You lost those 3 games versus Rogue. Now these 2 versus G2. And you're going to have to pull out completely different play if you want to overcome them in this series. I want to pull up a specific replay here. It is where Hilly goes for a complete Hilly play. I'm just going to call it that, right? And Broxah, you were just grinning when you saw this happening.
Yeah, this is just such a typical Hilly thing. I don't think there's any other player in the LEC that would even consider going for this play. It's just, he just pretty randomly decides to flash forward, goes for the play. Luckily for him, Jankos wasn't able to get out. But in a different world, G2 are ready for this, and they can just jump him, kill him, and get out.
And as you see there, Jankos kind of jumped on the grenade, is how Ender said it in the green room, right? Making sure that he is the one that dies. But the thing I want to kind of come across here, Dagda, with this replay, is that you know that Hilly is able to do this. But if you have to rely on this X factor, which is a 1 in a million, to replicate and to do again and again and again in order to get a foothold in a series, you've got a big problem.
Yeah, and I think a large portion of that is kind of coming down to the picks that we're seeing, right? When you look at like the mid lane with the Xayah isn't a champion that you're able to get a ton of early priority on. And we talked about the early stacking of dragons has been a big factor for Fnatic and how they force those fights where they play towards their strengths as a team. But we're not actually seeing that because we're kind of getting, well, a lot of attention towards Humanoid on the Twisted Fate. Xayah not really been able to do that. And it feels like every time G2 are taking these picks where they're just able to force plays in the mid lane. I mean, you look at the top lane. I mean, BrokenBlade is doing his best Doomby impression. He just keeps dropping waves and just going mid.
Yeah, I feel like at this point you have to find a way to unlock Humanoid, because Caps right now is looking like, you know, the godly Caps that we know from 1-2 years ago, and it just can't be right that Humanoid, the other great mid laner in Europe, isn't able to play the game, isn't able to do anything, and we need to see them finding a way to set him up for success. The TF hasn't been working, the Xayah is just too passive of a pick. We need something a little more proactive, something where he can actually have an impact early, take over the mid lane shot calling, and then carry Fnatic.
Yeah, it's just staggering to see, right? Humanoid coming into this in the last year, being the best mid in Europe with the 2 titles to his name, and Caps, who has been ramping up. And Ahri is not the easiest champion to play in that mid lane, Dagda, but twice now he's gone for it, and he's been able to impact the map in a way Humanoid has not been able to.
Yeah, and I mean, Caps has looked absolutely stellar on it. Like, I love seeing the Ahri come out rather than things like the Lissandra that we've seen in the past, right? Like, actually being able to have a bit more damage in team fights, still being able to provide that utility, but also having the opportunity to roam and set up plays. Like, Ahri just offers so much more for Caps, and you can see the results, right? We're getting control bot, mid, and BrokenBlade just going for these tanks tops. It doesn't matter then. As long as you have mid and bot, that's all that you really want for G2.
And they look so completely in tune, on the same page completely. And we also saw that in the team fights, and Ender is going to break down one of those late game bouts.
Thanks, Sjokz. Yeah, I wanted to take a look at pretty much the game-deciding fight that occurred at 28 minutes in the mid lane, and it starts with Fnatic looking to find a pick. They sort of defaulted this, looking for picks around mid lane, using Hylissang, using the Gragas, and primarily they go for this play because you only have these two players in the mid lane. Notice, Caps is still up towards the top side, BrokenBlade's Ornn all the way down in the bot lane. So for Fnatic, and with their composition, what they're trying to do is come up here, jump on Targamas. Razork is hiding in the Fog of War too, so he can come into play a little bit later as well. But Fnatic have to get in, get this pick, and get out very quickly. Otherwise, the collapse from G2 will make everything go poorly. Notice, no turret down there for Fnatic, so it's very easy for G2 to eventually run Fnatic down this lane. They see Targamas, and they're going to go for it with Wunder and a very nice barrel off the start. This looks good initially for G2, but Caps is now here on the flank, was actually hugging that wall to try and stay outside of vision so that he could come over this wall and find his target. At the same time, BrokenBlade also is on the path through that bot side river. So Targamas does a great job here stalling out. Look at that, his ultimate clearing so many different people. He hits the enemy ADC and knocks up two others in the process. And all of this stalling is what allows G2 to come in on this flank. Caps hopping over the wall, that's absolutely gorgeous. You'll love to see what he's able to accomplish on the flank right there. And somehow even Targamas survives. But this is where things go completely wrong because Caps is just doing dances on Fnatic on the top side of the map. Finally, we have BrokenBlade 2 coming in on the flank as well, which causes so much havoc for Fnatic, who again have overextended. And with this comp, they don't want to just run headfirst into a 5-on-5. They want to disengage a little bit, right? That's why you have the Thresh, the Gragas to play back for your Xayah to have a little bit more time. But G2, with Caps diving in on the backline, causes way too many problems. Of course, Flakked goes untouched throughout the fight. That Xayah very good at staying safe. And I feel like this is almost a mirror of some of the team fights we saw from the last time these two teams faced off, when it was Humanoid on the LeBlanc, similar to the Ahri, diving into the backline, creating so many issues. But this time around, it's G2, it's Caps, and it's G2 punishing. Very good reactive play to collapse in there on Fnatic and to win the game, Sjokz.
Thank you so much, Ender. I love that you reminded us of kind of what happened in that first series where it was a LeBlanc continuously diving the backline of G2. Xayah can play that similar role, right? But it is, of course, a bit trickier when the game is going the way it is. We're going to cover the picks and bans here on the desk because I kind of just want to set the stage for the game we're going into. Match point for G2, who came into the loser bracket and went 6-0 last weekend. Now up versus a Fnatic who should have been the favorite, but I think that people's trust was a bit shaken after that reverse sweep versus Rogue. And the point of the matter is, Broxah, that they haven't been able to find answers ever since Game 3 versus Rogue.
I think at this point, for Fnatic, they've lost a lot of games in a row, and it's all going to come down to the mental state, whether they are actually able to recover mentally, to go for a full-on reset, really, and just be like, guys, nothing has happened. The 5 previous games, they did not exist. We're just starting from scratch. There's nothing to lose anymore. It's time to shine. And this is one of the things that G2 has always been known for in the past, that Rogue did last week as well. Now we need to see Fnatic actually having that big disadvantage with all the pressure on the line and actually being able to come back.
Yeah, and we started to see the basis of that in this game, right? Or, sorry, in the last game, where we saw like Hylissang coming in for Razork, having that early presence, being able to make picks around the map, matching Jankos in so many situations, Hilly roaming from the bot lane like we expected. It just kind of felt like you had too much of a mix match of different things in the draft. I think if you can just take a team fight identity here from the draft, that'll set you up perfectly here as Fnatic.
Thank you for course correcting me a little, because last game we saw was actually not the worst we've seen, and there were adaptations that came into the draft for Fnatic. But the issue is going to be, is it too little too late? Because this is your last game, possibly, that you can play. G2 are on match points, so let's look at them as Fnatic is again on blue side, which they chose. G2 really have to just kick the goal in the net, right, Broxah? So let's start from that kind of standpoint. How do they do that?
Well, I feel like G2 being in this position, like everything they've done draft-wise has been working, right? They've been banning Siri, Caedrel, LeBlanc, both 2 games worked great, you know, they're just looking so good across the board, and I think for them now, It just comes down to sticking to their guns, keep playing a similar style. I would be surprised if they get away with getting the Ornn again, because the Ornn has been massive for them. Jarvan, same thing. So I would like to see Fnatic denying some of those heavy engaged tanks from G2 to just make the game a little easier, really.
Yeah, I mean, the Jarvan's the big one for me. I think the fact that you've got this early aggressor for Jankos has been the key difference maker. Because if you look back at the first time these two played in the playoffs, even though you had the Lee Sin for Jankos, he wasn't playing around caps in the mid lane. But now we're actually seeing with this Jarvan pick, they're doing a huge amount, but it looks like they're going to be focusing the mid lane instead with the Twisted Fate and the Ahri taken off the board for caps.
There's one thing in particular that I'm looking out for here, and it is the Volibear. And if I'm a Fnatic fan, and Fnatic do not first pick the Volibear here if it's open, I would be rather furious, because Razork has been looking so good whenever he played Volibear. This is the first time Fnatic don't just ban it right away. G2 has a pretty tricky decision to make. Like, are they going to ban away the Volibear? They stick to the LeBlanc, they go with the exact same draft as they did before. Now Fnatic, you have to first pick that Volibear, make Razork shine.
So this actually opens up the big question for me. Razork hasn't played Hecarim pretty much at all. I think he's played it maybe twice this split. This is basically a call out saying, hey, look, we're happy to go with the Volibear, but you're taking the Hecarim and just giving it over to G2 here. I think Jankos just goes for it. You get the good matchup with the Xayah in the bot lane. And I think maybe this is now them calling out, going, hey, look, we're going to take the Volibear. Do you have Hecarim, Razork?
They, of course, he showed Lee Sin, and it was actually kind of what we wanted. So now we're going to see if he does.
Yeah, so now Fnatic, for some reason that I do not fully understand, I'm going to be honest, they picked Aphelios, they did not take the Volibear. Now Razork gets the chance to play the Hecarim into the Volibear, and this jungle matchup, he has to be on point. Like, I still don't understand why they picked the Volibear away. It's a really key pick in the entire world right now. It's so strong, and I'm really excited to see how the jungle is going to go and if he can actually match it.
Now here's a change. This is a return to the Humanoid from 2021, right? His control mages, his Viktor, which can be so crazy in team fights if they get to it, and that signals a clear change for Fnatic.
It definitely does, but it also opens up a lot for caps. I think the reason that we're looking at Viktor here is like, hey, we want to make sure we can get priority, because if this Volibear starts to invade onto Hecarim, it's like lights out. But you open up things like this Corki, who one of the best laning phases, but at least can then go towards this poke stall in the later portion of the game. So if I'm Fnatic, okay, swapping over completely. I was about to say ban away the Jace, but we're just going to get the Sylas.
I was about to say, this draft was looking kind of boring compared to the previous one with the Viktor versus Corki, but Caps, he doesn't let us down. He locks in the aggressive pick. They have the Volibear Sylas, a very aggressive mid-jungle duo, and they're going to want to just put the foot on the gas pedal, just go ham, while on the other side, Hecarim, Viktor, they're strong, but they need a little more time to come online.
And the beauty is you basically get your own Hecarim with the Sylas as well now, right? You get the whole point that this champion is so incredibly strong. So now, when you come towards team fights, you've got a strong front line in both the Volibear and the Sylas. And realistically, I think for BrokenBlade, I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back towards some sort of like tank in the front line, because I think if you've got like a mega bruiser here, like you can actually set yourselves up really well as G2 to try and carry these team fights.
One thing that we've been seeing so far from Fnatic has been a high priority on Thresh, and I wonder if they're actually going to keep prioritizing the Thresh for Hylissang, or if they're going to mix it up for something a little different, because the Thresh hasn't really been working out that well for them. With Thresh, you need to have pressure in the lane, you need to be able to roam and make early plays. And now, with the Hecarim, Viktor, Aphelios, I would like to see them looking into one of the team fighting supports that can actually make a difference in that mid to late game.
I love the bans though, because G2 basically looking for an R pick here. You ban the Camille, you ban the Jace, and then you get that counter pick for Targamas. So now you've set yourself up wonderfully, where Hilly's like, well, whatever you bring to the table, Targamas now gets the counter pick, and you can set up really well in your bot side.
Yeah, this is so good for Targamas as well, because this guy has been known for being able to play literally every champion in the game. And now, with the counter pick, seeing Fnatic's full draft, he has a lot of different options he can go for. He could look for something like the Renata or like the Nautilus, but he could also change it up completely and go for an Enchanter if it's good into Fnatic's draft, knowing they already have frontline and engage in Volibear now.
Yeah.
Nautilus it is.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out, like, I think the Nautilus works out pretty well. Like, you have follow-up engage alongside the Hecarim, which I do like, but I'm trying to figure out what you go for in this top side for Wunder. I mean, if you go towards something like the Gragas, you're heavily, like, you can set up really well for this front-to-back style team fight. You can kind of at least avoid a lot of the early pressure coming through from the Gnar, but I think, okay, we're going to go towards the Gangplank. Yeah, I think setting up for something that has a little bit more damage, also just having that ultimate to try and corral G2 Esports a little bit, because you're looking at a lot of more immobile carries guys that have to try and run you down. So if you're able to provide that little bit of distance using this Gangplank ult, using things like the gravity field, I think it can work out really well for this short-range G2 composition.
I get a support counter pick, possibly.
Yeah, let's see. Are they gonna go for the team fighting comp? They surely will.
Yes.
So I know back in the day when I was on Fnatic, when we were in this game 5, they talked about it a little earlier. Our coaches would always say, guys, it's game 5, we're gonna lock in Braum, and it's gonna be great because this champion is so good in the team fights. Now, Fnatic, they did pick Nautilus, which is also pretty good in team fights, but I really like this pick to round out G2's comp. And I think now it's a little different because Fnatic will actually be able to match them a bit more in team fights, whereas it was really G2 favored before. But at the same time, G2's comp is really well rounded.
Yeah, I love this Gangplank pick. I actually think this is probably broken up G2 a little bit here because you think of like, well, we're super short range, we're going to be running into you. Well, let's lay out a whole red carpet of barrels. Let's make sure that you're just running through all this damage. You've got gravity fields, you've got a ton of zone control that you can offer, and it makes it very difficult for G2 to try and play around all the different things, because if you can blow the Xayah ult early with the feathers, well, you've still got so much more. You've got an Nautilus that's coming your direction. Hecarim, barrels, the cannon barrage. There's so much that you have to try and avoid on this Fnatic comp.
I'm hearing from Dagda excitement, meaning hopefully we'll get more games than just the 3 games between these 2 teams, G2 Esports and Fnatic. Fnatic, who have been pushed into a corner and have to find solutions now with their backs against the wall to see if they can still make it to that final, because for now it's G2 Esports who is on match point going into possibly the final game of the series.
And here we are, back onto the rift for what could be the final time. Hearing both the G2 and Fnatic fans cheering warms my heart.
Do you know, I always get reminded, because we haven't had fans for so long. Do you remember that Unicorns guy?
I do remember the Unicorns.
I was playing and I remember the Unicorns guy, yeah.
He cheered even in the game that Unicorns weren't playing.
It's true.
Shout out to
He
Unicorns
really
guy.
loved Unicorns of Love. Shout out to
And
you.
Boaster, XL Esports, la 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 la, now plays Valorant. We've come a long time. It's been many years.
Legend.
Been many years. Right, anyway. Game 3. We have seen a pretty dramatic change-up for Fnatic. They're going team fight, my friend.
Yeah, it looks like Fnatic's discussion after game 2 was, we're not taking a step forwards in terms of early game is not a problem. We're taking a step back and saying early game, it is not a problem whatsoever. We're going to scale. These lanes don't have much playmaking. Maybe bot lane could be something they can look around. But you can see G2 have all the options. Predator, Volibear, mid lane already trading. They have set up mid, they have set up bot. So I think Fnatic are going to be on the back foot, but their comp scales really, really well in team fights, just like you said.
That looked like a mistake initially from Humanoid. And of course, Caps having 2 stacks of his passive by going for the E first put him in an advantage early on. But the great thing about Viktor is, number one, he realized, oh, I have Corrupting Pot versus Caps, who's running Dark Seal, which means I have more sustain. But also, my Q has a shorter cooldown than your E, and I know it does, which means that the longer this fight goes on, I'm going to win.
Plus the shield and Airy.
Yeah, Q shield very strong, Airy very strong, so it looks good for Caps. But after that initial rotation, as he has to walk away, obviously going to take a lot of damage on the exit. Good news is he got that ward down very early, so may not spot out a bot side gank if that is how G2 want to approach this mid lane. Burning that vision early on is a small advantage. We'll have to see if G2 can capitalize on it.
Yeah, bot side gank is in my mind too, because Jankos is going to finish those Raptors and then move towards that bot side of the map. But Razork is doing the opposite. They're doing similar clears, but they're mismatching. You can see Razork's pathing top, Jankos will be pathing bot. We'll see if they can find anything on this bot side, because Braum notoriously good into melee supports. But Razork's going to change it up. It looks like maybe both junglers just walking towards mid right now. Razork just putting a bit of defensive vision. Jankos did a similar kind of gank earlier on, but he's walking to Razork's topside jungle. Now the big thing is here, Jankos doesn't have any push in top or mid, so if he finds Razork, he's going to get collapsed on. But instead he's going to wrap around and go towards mid.
His brain is
They
just
know exactly
so
where the ward is. Humanoid trying to play towards the top side, but here comes Jankos. That's the stun. Caps doesn't have any follow-up here, but it might be enough. That's it! The white flag comes out, and that's first blood for G2.
As much as we highlight Caps in the side lanes, Jankos this series has been phenomenal in the first 5 to 10 minutes. His early game plays, the ganks he's finding are incredible.
Man, we've seen him gank at level 3, level 2 even, every single game. It's just, it was bot lane, mid lane, and he is.
Oh, they're going
so
again.
successful.
Targamas has flash. Humanoid
And you talked about it in the draft. Fnatic said, hey, early game, it doesn't matter. We believe in our ability to scale. We believe in our ability to pull it back with things like the Viktor, like the GP. Well, G2 have just doubled down on the early game. Targamas roaming at level 2, Jankos with level 3 ganks. This is going to be explosive. Yes.
TSM. Speaking of TSM,
BrokenBlade.
we have a really convenient stat line. So, BrokenBlade, for those familiar with TSM, he was a player of that team.
Expert transition.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm a professional. BrokenBlade, throughout his career, has actually appeared in 4 different finals, 2 in the TCL, 2 in North America, and he's secured himself 1 title. He was reverse swept in the other one, which you reminded me of, against Team Liquid. But it's kind of crazy to think how long of a tenure he's had in terms of his career. And obviously when joining G2 Esports, he was replacing Wunder.
Yeah.
And remember back in 2019, Wunder was considered not just a good player, he was actually considered one of the best Western players, period, at that time. Still a very strong name, still a very solid player, but G2 took a bit more of a gamble. They took a carry-style top player that is much more about playing towards giving those resources. And I think what's crazy is that we've seen so much evolution and adaptation from BrokenBlade as a player. We've seen so much Gnar and Ornn from him so far in playoffs.
And I think it's so important to highlight, too, because we were expecting a lot of, let's call them BrokenBlade picks. We got 1 Yone, and then it was Camille's, it was Gnar's, it's been Ornn's. This man has, I think, grown so much as a player since coming to the LEC in a way a lot of people wouldn't have expected from those first few games or even that first split on Sjokz.
And if you think back to, BrokenBlade jumping on top of Wunder here, won't land the sun. If you think back to successful days of G2 in 2019, 2020, what was their biggest strength? It was innovation and flexibility and versatility. You never really knew when it draft what was going where. And I feel like G2 has kind of instilled that into Flakked and BrokenBlade in being very, very flexible in draft and in playstyle. But we've got a mid-fight going on now.
Forward, looking for the concussive blows to get stacked, but they're all in the midst of the gravity kill. They just have so much damage early on. Razork gonna look to finish 1 kill back onto Caps, with mid lane already going down. Hylissang now in trouble. That's the 4th stack coming in for the concussive blows, but Razork wants a few more. Rampage fully stacked. It's gonna be big damage. He finally manages to connect the stun. Jankos, he's still hungry. Oh, just take a bite out of him. They're not done. Razork trying to sprint, trying to go fast, puts the flash out from Targamas.
Oh, he's gonna go for him. He might have queue up again soon.
Going for it. Oh, here comes the bear. The snare, stun rather coming down from above. Not enough.
Wow, Jankos matching the aggression in the mid lane. The whole game plan there for Fnatic was to help Humanoid push out mid so that he can get a good reset off. The man doesn't have flash. He's at a great risk of getting ganked. What does G2 do? Gank him anyway. They go for the 3v3 fight, and while Caps does lose his life, it's G2 that comes out on top, and Caps isn't slowing down.
Goes that Gnar, level 6 comes in, big damage, fall off the wall, all too easy there. They're gonna go for the dive. Wunder now gonna be in trouble. Caps finishing him with the chain last. G2 popping off in this early game.
Yeah, with this draft, Fnatic thought they could withstand the early game, but G2 are relentless. 4 kills so far, and it all comes off the back of the mid jungle of G2 once again. Jankos goes mid to unlock Caps, and Caps unlocks the rest of the map. And after this play, you can say Jankos is washed, he's old, his hands don't work anymore, but he's proving everyone wrong. Where are the doubters at?
Look at him. It's just a giant ball of damage, isn't it? That's a G2 just all committed to the flashless Humanoid. Of course, Caps, as we mentioned, did lose his life. And Jankos, he thought he had the damage to kill Hylissang, but at this point, Fnatic need to disengage, but they want to fix the wave. And that is the window for Jankos to say, oh, my cooldowns are back up. I think I'll take another.
And this is why people ban the Volibear. This champion is disgusting early game. The W damage, the E shield, absolutely out of control. 2-0-1 now for Jankos, 2-1-2 for Caps. The mid jungle from G2 has total control of this map.
Yeah, where's the mid jungle from Fnatic? Razork's been finding plays in the early stages. Yes, maybe the jungle pool and the champion is playing not so optimal from the outside perspective. It's what Fnatic want to do, but Humanoid in the last 3 games against Rogue found nothing. The first 2 games against G2 also didn't really find too much. It feels like every gank just seems to work. Barring that Kai'Sa on mid, he has to blow sums, and he's being the target for these teams, and there's not much protecting him. Hylissang's moving towards mid every now and then when he can, but he doesn't really have much to work with.
Certainly. And while last week it was Flakked who was putting up the big numbers and was kind of the big damage carry for G2, this series there is no doubt in any of our minds it is Caps. 33.5% of his team's damage. 12-12. Like, you can read. Those numbers are big. They are very big. Caps is unleashed, and I'll be honest, we thought a lot about what playing in front of fans, what playing on a stage like this would do for players from a negative perspective. Would they choke? Would they struggle? But we forgot what it does for some players when it comes to the pressure, when it comes to the seriousness of the matches. This is G2 that Caps has talked about so much, is that the games didn't mean as much when there wasn't a crowd, when the stakes didn't feel real, when you were playing at home or you're coming into an empty studio. But now you can see Caps coming alive as we return to League of Legends at its best.
And it's all momentum based, right? It really does look like we were talking about Caps is feeling it. Ever since game 1, game 2 was even better. Maybe game 3 is even a bigger step up, but for now Herald is a point of contention. Wunder used his GP ultimate top to clear out a wave. We didn't see it on screen, but he doesn't have that ultimate available if the fight kicks off. 4 members of G2 up towards the top side. Flakked is in bot side river. We'll see what he does. He could just go back to bot and catch the wave here if Fnatic give up the objective, but he wants to make sure he's around in case of a fight.
So difficult now. They have the numbers advantage right now. There's nothing that Wunder can do. You already highlighted perfectly, Caedrel. They're not going to try and fight this anyway, are they?
I think they can.
The other side level 6. Razork level 6 as well. Aphelios.
X-Flash, Hylissang, absolute mad lad. Upset off to the side. They're just posturing. Maybe they're hoping to get a follow-up fight here, but Caps with the stolen ultimate. Upset has to be careful here. They're going to try to lock him down before they get anything else done. He can be unstoppable, but no, he is very stoppable. The Hecarim ult will not work. Upset now pushing in. Flakked going to be in trouble here as Razork is already on the back line. He pulls the feathers back, and it's massive damage. Jankos going to finish the kill now on a killing spree himself, but Fnatic, they're not done yet. They know this is their window of opportunity. They need to try to find something. Targamas slowing with the Winter's Bite. The rest of G2 will find the retreat.
A little bit of desperation coming out there from Humanoid, but still they get themselves a kill onto Caps. Overchase, maybe Razork falls. 1-for-1 objective to G2, and again, third game in a row, both neutrals in favor of G2 once again. And I think the problem there G2 had was BrokenBlade base, thinking the objective was secured, and then Fnatic found themselves a 4v4. It looked good initially, but the overchase was just a bit too much.
Certainly did. This will result in a few plates going to Upset, but perhaps Jankos has found himself another meal.
Flash and cleanse. Up for Upset. Jankos not going to over push or overstay. He's going to be able to recall safely as we take a look back at that exchange around the Herald.
You can see the communication in this team fight, because watch G2. Let's try to zone Razork. Okay, let's move top side together. And as Jankos picks up the buff, Caps is looking for a turn on his own. Fnatic see that he's looking for a turn, and G2 want to move top side, so they engage. And the engage is great. How can G2 really help Caps here? They can't get onto Humanoid. He has sums up here, and this is where I think Fnatic were feeling themselves a bit too much. Razork ulting into the backline. Look how much damage Flakked does when he pulls all those feathers back on top of him. Instantly gets taken out. And Humanoid just looks for more.
Props to Targamas there. I know the fear also forced him to walk into Fnatic, but he was in a position that made it harder for the rest of Fnatic to follow up on that initial engage, kind of isolating Razork from the rest of the fight as well. So what kind of feels good on paper, you know, a massive Hecarim ultimate onto all 3 members. The follow-up just couldn't come through from Fnatic, which meant that G2 found themselves a return kill. This means that the goal is dead even, but that's going to very quickly change.
Yeah, Herald into this top tower. We'll get first tower for G2 once again. You can see BrokenBlade is going to have to be pushed off this bot tower. Fnatic have to cross-map or at least find something on the other side. Because, I mean, Caps just kind of... This Herald has stabilized the gold for him and Humanoid, interestingly, because he's so far ahead in CS now. BrokenBlade might be a target for Fnatic. Hylissang sprinting down here, use the hook onto the wall. BrokenBlade knows they're around, and we'll just give this up.
A lot of easy, reliable CC here. BrokenBlade with Gnar is a bit of a threat. Hop already burned. Wunder ulti going down to stop this push going in as the Herald collapses. Jankos still in that area. Targamas moving into backup BrokenBlade. Upset.
Oh, they're getting another tower.
It's similar to game 2 where BrokenBlade is catching waves on the tower. Targamas is covering him, and now G2 have got 2 towers top. I mean, Fnatic are going to force this dragon. They might get it. Caps' TP is up soon, but there's no way G2 are going to contest this, but they'll be happy with that.
G2 just seem to have Fnatic's number right now, and of course Fnatic is very reliant on their scaling, the front-to-back team fighting power that they have, the global pressure that a Gangplank ultimate can provide later on into the game, but G2, they're just playing the map better.
Who's going to catch mid-wave? Looks like Upset's the one moving towards it. Flakked's going to push it in. Caps, and of course Jankos can disable the tower. He is all alone right now, Upset, and he wants to catch this wave. Will Caps show before Upset does? Because if they see Upset, they're going to go for this dive.
Targamas is the best actor in the world. False sense of security here. Upset doesn't think there's anything to be worried about.
This
time there's nothing.
You know, I had a really cool line prepared there. Well, I was going to say, if Jankos did the dive, many tarnished fear the Rune Bear. But have you seen Jankos's Volibear?
That was a good reference.
Yeah.
Oh, they love it.
But he didn't do it, so I was like, well, I've got to get the line out now. I'm not going to get another chance.
Maybe there was, but maybe there wasn't, so you may as well.
That's the best way to sneak it in.
Just force it in, jam it in there.
Hey, look.
Hey, guys, I thought something really clever, so listen.
Hey, I'm smart. Please pay attention. Look at me. I'm the center of attention now.
That's what I'm really good at. Now, continuing to take the microphone away from you. The Dragon spawns in about 4 minutes' time. No Herald on the board for the time being, which means that it's just a lot of posturing. Both teams kind of catching waves, trading sides. G2 kind of have the choice of either playing towards mid or bot. Usually what you'll often see is control over mid, and then you transition the control from mid into the bot side jungle, which you can then translate into the bot tower. And that's kind of what G2 is setting up for the time being as they contest over the control. And our vision is being highlighted, thank you observers, in terms of how much control G2 actually have. They are creating this fog of war, making it harder for Fnatic to rotate, which then makes it even more difficult to protect these plates from dropping to Caps.
Exactly, and Caps getting so much solo gold here too as well. You highlighted the CS discrepancy. Yes, Caps is wildly behind in that metric, but he's getting so many plates across the map. Absolutely willing to funnel gold into the Sylas pick to make sure it is as powerful as possible here in the mid game.
Yeah, Fnatic just question mark pinging that tower throughout the whole play the last minute, just saying, guys, we need to make sure we can catch this wave. They are eventually responding, but again, like I said, Vedius, so much bot side vision for G2, and of course, if they show on those wards, you know they're there. If they don't, then they're up on the opposite side of the map. Process of elimination. BrokenBlade looking for Wunder. Hylissang.
The TP out. TP already down. Hylissang now has to run. That's the stolen ulti. Caps now looking to overcommit here.
So Hylissang loses flash. Wunder loses his TP. Are G2 done just yet? Jankos is behind them. Flakked's pushing in mid-wave.
Dash away. Hilly getting pulled into the wall here, trying to find the knock-up on the Caps. Caps has a lot of healing already. Targamas a little bit of an early ult, but dissuades any potential follow-up, and really nothing here for Fnatic. Just might have to clear the wave and hold on.
Both teams looking for a target. None found just yet. TP coming in.
Turning off the tower. The hook body block. Caps now in the midst of Razork, but there goes BrokenBlade, throwing it back into the wall. Knocked down Humanoid right as he appears. He can get absolutely nothing done, but Jankos upset still standing for now. Caps trying to make it out of the wall. Caps holding on to his life, but Fnatic turning it back. Look at all the chakram stacks for upset. He's going to do so much damage. Flakked going back, but can he outrun the Chaos Storm? Just barely, yes. Fnatic finally finding a play in their favor.
It's a 5 versus 5 on bot tier 1. Absolute chaos on the map, and only one person dies. Fnatic get themselves a kill, but so many members of G2. Look at the health bars on the right-hand side. Caps, Flakked, Targamas, BrokenBlade. Everyone was so low HP. The second Jankos jumped in, it looked like they just called the play off instantly. G2 were just running for the hills.
I think one of the big things was Jankos didn't actually disable the tower with his ultimate. He was a little out of range of it. His focus was on killing upset here. They knew that they had a TP advantage because GP just TP'd away. And then look at the engage here. So the tower is still actually hitting onto Jankos. And then that means that when the engage follow-up comes through, you can see that G2's focus ends up getting a little bit broken apart.
Yeah, they're all just trying to run away. And I mean, I think G2 are really lucky here to only lose one. But the one that they lost is an insane shutdown over to upset. I think it was 1,000 gold or something on Jankos. Flash forward from Humanoid. Flakked has the heal. Everyone gets out at 1 HP. G2 overstepping there a bit. Fnatic tried to punish.
And it was a good punish, a much needed one for Fnatic, getting a little bit of gold into their back pocket. Another fight.
Still getting aggressive. Big fight over this potential Herald. Again, Fnatic scaling, Fnatic's teamfight power. Difficult for G2 to match if Fnatic find themselves with a bigger advantage. For now, G2 still in the lead, about 1,300 gold in their favor. But Fnatic, full confidence here as they move in to take this objective. They know they're strong enough to fight back now.
Confidence is the key word. The momentum has shifted a bit. These carries of Fnatic are slowly coming online. One item completed. It'll only get worse from this point onwards for G2. So I think Fnatic scaling is pretty good right now. I mean, they'll pick themselves up this Herald. That should guarantee them a mid tower. They're still 2 towers down, but there's signs of life here in this game 3.
Oh, definitely. Humanoid, while he is ahead in CS and he is behind in gold versus Caps, he actually has the level advantage over him. He also has the first core item completed too. The scaling on this Viktor is only going to get stronger as the game progresses. Same for the Gangplank in the top lane. Once again though, we find all outer towers down for Fnatic. This will be Fnatic's first of the game. I don't expect G2 to try and answer this. In fact, Caps is looking for Hilly.
The wall pushing for Hylissang. Hylissang has to be careful there. He has no aftershock. He has no tanky stats. He's going to go down. Razork now might be the one in trouble because that is a Predator Volibear. Run, Horsey, run. Jankos now, they're just shifting his attention onto Upset. Upset, no cleanse. No way to get away here. He's just getting run down. He's got okay weapons to run, but not good ones to fight. He's going to be in trouble. Razork now in trouble as well. G2, oh. They got the cake, they're eating it too. It's easy pickings.
They're absolutely everywhere, and it all comes off the back of Caps once again. Lost his 100% kill participation on upset there, but we talked about these champions like Sylas and Ari, where he can make plays, he can make decisions on his own. He doesn't have to make any setup, ask the team whatsoever. He sees a play, he goes for it, and we see a great example of it right there.
Certainly did. G2 just continuing. It's crazy how they felt like they were on the back foot, and then all of a sudden they just come back out onto the map and instantly look for a play. Caps being that initial instigator, with the rest of G2 very quick to follow up. Find themselves with a 3k gold lead. The Dragon is alive as well. They're not in a great position to set up for it, and as Fnatic come back out onto the map, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw another fight.
And the early stages looked a little bit manageable after that bot side fight, but like you said, in a blink of an eye, it all turns back into G2's favor. Dragon up. Fnatic looking for some kind of vision.
Mid-wave even right now. We'll see if G2 can get first
Caps
access.
wasn't spotted there.
Caps looking for the pick. Level 11, level 9, level 8 on Hylissang. Humanoid a big threat though with 2 levels in that ultimate. A TP coming into the mid lane, upset in the area. Could be a full-on 5v5, but G2 have already started this objective. There's really nothing here for Fnatic unless they're willing to try to bully down that mid lane tower.
Fnatic have a wave, but they don't have a herald. That tower's full HP. G2 looking for an engage. Caps.
Caps stepping in. Hecarim ulti as well. Upset gun's not great. If he's only got 1 or 2 shots left on purple, and he does, then it should be an okay fight.
Standoff. Fnatic invested a TP for that. Maybe they thought they had a little bit more tempo in mid, and they could actually take that tower completely. G2 quick to respond, and like I said, look at the sides, both pushing in. Fnatic are going to have to run away and catch those waves eventually.
Which then leaves a window open for G2 to immediately push down mid.
Hook going in, that's going to be big. Flakked locked up the chain CC, almost flawless, but he is able to ult out to safety. In the end, Targamas will drop.
And like you said, there's going to be a window for G2, but the window was still Fnatic's for a couple more seconds. Hylissang knows it. Oh, Flakked! Oh, the GP
ult going. Now Caps, has he potentially been caught out here? Is he going to be forced to use the ultimate? Ready to body block for his AD carry. Flakked walking away for now. Will not be in position to stop this wave.
Humanoid up a level, up so much CS. We talked about Caps making all these plays, but Humanoid's getting a lot of resources in his back pocket. Razork looking for Jankos now, taking away his camps, taking away his jungle. A kill just allows them to unlock the rest of the map.
Fnatic continuing to try and match some of the pressure that G2 have been throwing out. I love the fact that they did in fact overstay in mid. Hylissang going for the engage. I thought at first glance it was a bit of an in-play, but Fnatic had the numbers advantage. Fnatic had the chain CC combo to be able to just burst down Targamas and Flakked. They forced Flakked of his summoners. He was forced to disengage and Targamas on his life.
Flashing out early, but he knows Volibear is on the way. Has the cleanse, has to eat the oranges immediately, but they're waiting. They held on as long as humanly possible, so BrokenBlade get in position. It's a genius play. It's the small things that matter, but Jankos will grab the kill.
G2 just finding so many picks, whether it's Caps or Jankos, they're just isolating members of Fnatic, collapsing on them and getting kills before Fnatic can set up anything. They can't really do anything on the map now. Again, they have to wait for Wunder to respawn.
And it's within these windows between objectives, when there's no Drake, when there is no Baron, when there is no tower to play for, they're just looking for these picks and they're consistently catching Fnatic off guard. This means that G2 can then create those opportunities to push for objectives. And now look, 2 members of Fnatic committing onto the bot side of the map. What can G2 do elsewhere?
Blade hook comes out, flashed out anyway.
Bit of a panic flash, but making sure he respects the hook. If that lands, a lot of chain CC probably would have died. The good thing for Fnatic is there's a lot of standing gold on the map. That top tier 2, really low from the Herald. Bot tier 1, also extremely low. So they have some towers that they can collect if they can only find some picks, but it's G2 who are the ones finding the picks first.
I mean, remember last game, Fnatic weren't able to get any of G2's out of towers. You're talking an optimistic way, but the question is, can they actually break through the defense of G2? They have held strong so far in this series. Let's see, Fnatic now grouping up, looking for the siege. TP available on Caps.
4 members.
The picks are coming down. Look at the ward.
They don't have super reliable wave clear. BrokenBlade on the flank. Gnar pretty well charged. Upset now going to be in trouble. Jankos immediately leaps onto Upset. Upset, there's not a lot of room to maneuver. They're trying to burst down Jankos, but here comes BrokenBlade. Here comes the Gnar. Can't find the target quite yet. Caps immediately stepping forward. BrokenBlade just trying to isolate Humanoid away. He will knock him into the wall. The wall now Fnatic Wunder on the backside, looking to do it, but he cannot find the barrel connect. BrokenBlade goes golden, buys a moment, but Caps, Conqueror fully stacked, shredding through Fnatic. Wunder, Razork, Humanoid, the Fnatic topside, pushing back in for more. Targamas ready to body block. Flakked off to the side, will grab a kill. G2 slowly but surely winning the fight. A single barrel could turn this on its head. The damage that could come in from Humanoid is massive, but he has to connect the skills. The death ray starting things off. Finally, both sides will back away.
Humanoid does what he can in this fight. He has so much damage at his disposal, and he does a great job of keeping the fight relatively even. But this Sylas Braum duo is just so lethal. They work so well together. They complement each other's skills, and the moment the Targamas lands a slow, Caps is there to quickly follow up. So let's have a look at this quick engage as the double TPs come in.
Yeah, you can see the strength of G2 when they manage to get on top of you. Like you said, the Sylas, the Braum, the Volibear, they're just diving on top of Upset, and Fnatic just want to kite back. We said it in draft, they want to kite back, avoid all the bursts, make sure they can stay alive with their carries. And the reason Fnatic can hold on for so long is because they all tried to bail on top of Humanoid, but Humanoid managed to survive. Razork peeling a little bit, Wunder a little bit late to the fight itself. But the fact that Humanoid lives for so long gives Fnatic a chance to fight back. But this duo, like you said, Vedius, is unstoppable on G2.
Huge props to Wunder. His ultimate in that choke point in the river throughout the brush actually slowed down massively Flakked from joining the fray, and his impact in the fight was very minimal. He wasn't able to dish out a lot of the damage that he typically would like to do, and imagine if he was in the fight, if he was able to actually get on top of some of the carries alongside BrokenBlade, that fight could have been a lot worse for Fnatic, but they don't find themselves in a very good position here at match point.
Certainly not. G2 holding onto their lead for now as Hylissang. A lot of confidence as he hex flashes forward. Something to track though in the fights to come. Wunder full damage GP. He is here to win these fights. A single barrel could be the difference between a one fight and a lost one. Fnatic, they find the setup are incredibly powerful even despite the deficit.
Oh, Hilly gets tagged. 15 seconds on this Dragon. Both teams trying to poise through mid. Normally you see battle lines drawn on opposite sides. G2 are going to find their way into river. It looks like Fnatic want to move towards mid-wave. 10 seconds left. This could be a repeat of the third Dragon where G2 just burst it down. Fnatic late to respond. Looks like they're in the vicinity. Wunder trying to poke out Caps.
Decent damage, but not quite there yet. Single barrel, not enough. G2 pulling back to the bottom side of the map. And not a ton of vision here, but Upset, great guns for a fight if they can get it going. Wunder ulti up and available, can throw it into the backline. For now, they're saying focus on the prize. Razork, can he take this one away? No. G2 just taking it. Fnatic, they've got a wave in the mid lane, but not enough time to get any damage on the tower.
Fnatic have tempo in mid right now. What can they do with it? They need to make sure G2 can't get to the mid lane. They need to zone them away, or at least look to chunk them out or zone them away to make sure they can get this tower. See them going all the way around. I think the problem Fnatic had in this fight is Upset has no summoners. Humanoid has no flash. If they get tagged by absolutely anything, they're dead. They have no defensive items and hardly any peel. It'll be a Dragon for a tower trade, but G2 on sole point.
Already BrokenBlade pushing in on the bottom side, however, is going to demand a response. Caps moving up to the top side to generate a little bit of vision, to get a little bit more control. The game just keeps moving forward.
Caps looking for something else, wandering around the map. I can still hear the energy from G2, still very strong. They're feeling good right now on stage, and how can they not find themselves 2k up? When you just press tab on your screen, obviously you can't see the gold difference, but you can see the kill difference.
Oh yeah.
And that's already going to make you feel good. You can see in the mid lane as well, Caps with a 1.2k gold lead, similar in jungle. All across the board, G2 is in a very strong spot 24 minutes into the game.
And you highlighted it well, Vedius, of this dive combo of the Sylas Braum. The good news is it works up until 25-30 minutes, but the problem is when the Viktor and Aphelios get so many items, you're as good as dead the second you go forward. They will have so much damage to work with that overstepping just 1 meter too far, you're instantly blown up. And Fnatic have got good CC to peel. The Nautilus, Viktor W, if the Aphelios has good guns, the GP to slow the backline down. So as much as G2 is ahead right now, the clock is ticking. If Dragons in 3 minutes, they need to make sure they can secure that soul.
Certain. If there are 3 champions in League of Legends I absolutely do not want to walk into, it is GP, Viktor, and Aphelios. Under no circumstances, outside of the first 2 items, do I ever want to have to face check what could be barrels, a gravity field, the immediate burst, the immediate follow-up. And obviously Aphelios isn't just a burst damage on a blue wall, but all the sustained damage you need to finish a fight.
And this is where I then bring our attention back to Senor BrokenBlade in the top lane. His ability to create variance in fights is something that we've seen multiple times. Already this game, we've seen him find the flank in order to create that opportunity for his team. And I think back to his games versus Misfits, versus Vitality in particular, the way in which, I mean, even that series against Fnatic, when he was playing the Gnar and those choke points, the one around walls where he was basically just zoning Upset out of the fight, that this roster has a surprisingly high number of impact players. And this is something that we often talk about when it comes to the highest level of League. What was it? When was it Perks or Upset who said when they look at this team, I think it's 5 fakers. You know what I mean?
What can I do? Even if I smash bot, they have 3 fakers on the top side.
And I think that what's crazy about this G2 roster is that they are slowly evolving into those roles that you kind of have to respect because of their ability to not only in how they work as a team, but their ability to find those individual outplays. They can literally swing a game.
Yeah, it's the importance of creating space for each other just to allow the other to carry. I mean, Flakked's been a rock this entire series long. It's all been about the G2 solo lanes and BrokenBlade on the Aura making plays happen for his team and Caps just carrying. And there's different iterations of G2, but this is the one that's working. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Looks like G2 playing the 1-3-1, and they have Sylas Gnar playing the side lanes, and I need to group up and force some kind of mid-prio. Cap's going to take such a strong ultimate away. Does help him gap close onto Upset, who will probably need a stopwatch soon. Humanoid as well.
BrokenBlade getting frisky here, but you can see Wunder starting to lay down a little bit of damage back. Randy with a great purchase, forcing out that ultimate early could be big. In the meantime, what's the response? Caps in the picture-in-picture, looking to pitch for a kill. On to Upset, BrokenBlade or surely fall. One more auto is going to be enough movement speed, but not quite enough to get away. Now, Caps in the meantime hasn't gotten anything. He's going to be in trouble as well. Humanoid laying down so much damage, going golden, but Jankos, I don't think he can bail him out of this one. Caps dashing out to safety. That is the power of the locket to keep him alive. The rest of G2 now on the retreat, or are they trying to turn? It's a split fight. It's a messy exchange. Wunder keeping the pressure up bottom side, but it's Fnatic who went out on the play.
Caps wants the base so he can TP. Maybe he can TP bot and kill Wunder, but it looks like Razork wants to chase him down. They don't want to let G2 back away. They want to make sure Wunder is the pressure point right now.
Okay, Jankos.
Jankos, like you said, Vedius, hiding, lying in wait. Caps has that TP, so G2 could turn at the click of a finger, but it looks like that'll be it.
And finally, it feels like Fnatic are starting to find more plays back in their favor. And again, we've talked about the scaling. Past 25 minutes, this is where things really start to get hard. And in theory, if you are G2, your advantage point should be when you find individual isolated members. But BrokenBlade overextends. Caps unable to find that aggressive solo kill. And as a result, Fnatic reaping the rewards as they get a bit of control back on the map.
Just like we talked about, Upset losing his summoner there, just pick up the stopwatch, so that'll help with Caps diving on top of him. These carries kind of have to self-peel a bit if Fnatic's divers are going in with the Hecarim and the Nautilus. GP ult can be used to buy space as well, and space is just such an important word for both these teams. BrokenBlade has to buy it so Flakked and Caps can do their thing, and the carries of Fnatic need to make sure they have enough space to work with so they can peel back, get their spells off. So much zone control on both sides, but 15 seconds on the Dragon.
This
soul for G2
is going to define so much. Multiple items have been completed on either side. Both teams feel very strong right now, and Fnatic is probably in one of the best positions they've been in all series. It's just about looking for those barrels, looking for that opportunity. Already, Humanoid finds good damage on the Flakked.
G2 might just 50-50 it. It's a good 50-50 to take. They can wait for the next one as well, but it looks like Fnatic just want to force it themselves. Razork is in smite rage. Jankos, eyes on him. Can he get in range? He is now. They have a decent amount of burst as well.
The rage bar on BrokenBlade.
This could be big. They're going to look to interrupt the engage. Hilly now going forward, but BrokenBlade just leaps into the backside. He can't quite find the purchase on the ultimate. It just whips and goes wide. Fnatic, maybe they have a chance in this fight. Upset Humanoid still standing strong. Wunder trying to buy as much space as possible, but they're just not able to finish anybody off. Caps will finally go down. Flakked dropping Caps, staying alive for now, dashing out to safety, and that is the damage from the GP. BrokenBlade outscaled, but not outmatched. Goomba stomping his way out to safety, but Fnatic, they're going to grab the Drake. Humanoid will grab the kill, and just like that, Fnatic are in control.
Fnatic are alive. They might be able to get Baron off the back of this as well. It all comes off Wunder against his former team at match point. Triple kill. One barrel single-handedly took out the bot lane of G2.
It was the man that was benched that comes up clutch for Fnatic. Finding an incredible play with the GP should open up the Baron for Fnatic. And gentlemen, we may very well have a series on our hands. Caps stands in the way of Fnatic and a Baron.
There's no way, right?
What ultimates can he take?
We've said it before. He's managed to find a way to steal it.
Razork no smite.
There's no way.
Razork no smite
too. Caps over the wall. Just a cheeky. No. Not going to happen.
And I need to see that barrel from Wunder again, because in the blink of an eye, Flakked and Targamas disappeared from Summoner's Rift. Hylissang goes in the initial engage. BrokenBlade zones him away. Eyes on Wunder. How does he pull it off? 1 versus 3.
Oh, it's huge.
1 versus 3. Takes down G2 single-handedly.
And it's...
You know, it was that bush, that right there, that Humanoid was in. G2 versus Suning, where it was G2 that faced the barrel of Bin. And it is now Wunder who's able to find a massive triple kill and keep Fnatic's hope alive in this series.
And no matter what characters come out, Lightning, Running Girl, Xayah, Pirate with gun, always a force to be reckoned with.
Good old reliable.
1 pistol, 1 barrel can match all the magic in the world.
So let's take stock. Fnatic took away that dragon, bought themselves 3 more minutes. They have a Baron. Look at the items as well. Upset close to Infinity Edge. Wunder basing for Infinity Edge now, I presume. Humanoid building towards his 4th item. These carries that we talked about that scale so well are coming online. Levels advantage in favor of Fnatic 2, and now they're the ones pushing onto the tier 2s of G2.
And finally, we are seeing life from Fnatic. It really did feel like up until that point, it was a done and dusted series for G2, but Fnatic find the fight off the back of Wunder.
Wait. It's all about the barrel. BrokenBlade's ready for this. Can he find the solo bolo? Pushing in for a little bit more. There's a TP on the way. They killed one. They've got a TP. They've got a cannon minion. They're going to push for it. We're just having a bit of a race here. The rest of the team just has to hold on to this one. TP to keep the minion alive. It's big brain. They just need to kill the tower as fast as possible. They don't have the damage. The minion is going to die. The push is going to be stopped. But not before they break this one. They want to keep it. They're going to deny the recalls. It only takes 4 seconds for them to retreat. Fnatic, it's a split decision. Razork going in to try to buy time for the rest of the recalls. Humanoid has to be careful as he steps up. Could be in danger. But after all that, they're still going in. Caps going for the hero play. Humanoid trying to buy as much time as possible. But no! The Storm! BrokenBlade gets it! The Storm! Turning it back! Running for his life now. Upset's going to be the one who's in trouble. He has to turn this into 2v1, but all the damage is there. Upset holding on. Flakked following up. There's no way he gets out of this one. That's the shutdown. Caps going down. Upset falling on the opposite side. This game is not over yet.
And just we praise Wunder so much, BrokenBlade's the one who comes out in the advantage, gets the solo kill, TP in from Caps. Split fight on opposite sides of the map. So much pressure on these players to close the game out. Neither side giving any leeway.
This is what we wanted. G2 and Fnatic going toe-to-toe at the very end. G2 obviously find themselves at match point. Fnatic doing everything in their power to stay alive in this series and fight for a spot in the finals. It was Wunder that made the play that secured Fnatic the fight and the Baron, but it was BrokenBlade that gave the window for G2 back into this game.
Yeah, sometimes the best form of defense is offense. G2, the siege was coming onto bot tier 3, and they thought, you know what, we'll just go through top. Cap CPing in, they get the kill, the Storm makes it so it's a 1-for-1, and then there was an exchange on bot side. The problem is Upset's all alone. Razork and Hylissang base to kill Caps, and that left Upset alone in a 1v3, so I think it was a 2 for 2 overall.
But you look at the state of the map, both sides, well, actually the inhibitor went down in top lane, whereas Fnatic were not able to secure the one in bot, so G2 now have this constant pressure on the top side. Remember that the dragon spawns in 55 seconds. That is a lot of pressure on the map that Fnatic have to find a way of managing.
But look at the items. Upset has Infinity Edge, Humanoid has Void Staff, Hylissang.
Jankos not as tanky as he was at the start of the game. Has to be careful here. Razork pushing forward. Targamas trying to block all the fallout damage that he can. But he's given his life in the exchange, trying to leap back out to safety. BrokenBlade waiting in the darkness. Big from Upset. Targamas dropping. That could be the moment. Now the 5v4, G2 trying to hold on. They know they need this Drake. Fnatic turning their attention. Maybe they can just go for something else instead.
They need patience in the chaos. Fnatic need to just push this mid wave and slow it down. BrokenBlade
caught out. That's the follow-up damage that they need, but he can't quite finish it. The gravity field stops him. It's a snapshot of what could have been. He manages to kill him in the end, but Flakked now running for the hills. He's got no ultimate. Jankos can come over the wall, but
Eyes
the
on
rest
Caps.
of Fnatic pushing in.
Wait, Caps does have his ultimate up.
He's
What can he
spotted
steal,
though.
He will
They
be
know he's
spotted.
there.
Level 16 yet. He could just choose to push in bot lane. Remember, they
Massive
don't need
wave.
this Drake.
Massive wave topside as well. This is a point of pressure Fnatic eventually will have to respond to.
4v3. Is Jankos gonna go for the 50-50?
He has
vision.
ult.
He has vision.
Jankos going in. Jankos, he gets it! Oh, they want the 3-0! They can taste victory in front of them, Fnatic. It's the little things, the Inferno Soul. Will it be enough to end the game in favor of G2? Yes, Fnatic have the gold lead, but Jankos finds the steal.
The clutch factor on G2 just never seems to go away. Jankos with the steal, BrokenBlade with the solo kill, Caps just doing Caps things. G2 continue to find ways back into the game when by all odds they should not be able to.
It's not over yet though. G2, yes, they have the soul, but Fnatic didn't lose too much in their base. The team fights just became a whole lot harder, but again, these carries will continue to scale. G2 with the soul will base and look to take control of the map. Caps, we have to keep eyes on his items. When he gets that Rapidon's full completed, he's going to do a hell of a lot of damage.
It's a terrifying prospect to face check him, but similarly, Wunder only getting scarier, all the flat lethality.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, that's a Wunder barrel crit.
Yep.
That was 1.1k onto a BrokenBlade, and he's got a lot of armor.
And remember, even in the face of all that crit, BrokenBlade was winning the 1v1 because of all that armor. That might no longer be the case. Testing over blue buff. They do get Razork's Smite, which is a small window of control. Still 20 seconds to the Baron, though, so it will not matter too much.
Fnatic need to be very careful about these top waves, of course, as well, because G2 have double TP. They could look to just push through. There's 1 minute left on that inhibitor respawn, but if Fnatic over TP and over invest resource on this mid wave, there's a window for a double TP on top wave. We'll see how it ensues. Razork looking for Flakked.
Trying to force the ultimate out there from Flakked. Razork didn't want to overcommit, but Flakked, he held his ground. Now, Fnatic have the wave. This tower is also very low.
BrokenBlade splitting.
Should be able to secure this one.
The push still coming in. Yeah, he's at the tier
damage.
3 right now. Fnatic, I think, are starting to realize, guys, we need to send someone back to base, and G2 are not going to let that happen. Looks like Caps is trying to spot them out.
Jankos at 50% HP. They're in a difficult spot here. Caps now fishing for a pick here. Wunder does massive damage.
Stopwatch, that's so big for the later fight.
The wave is still there. The wave is still there. Fnatic have sent no one yet. Wunder's on the way.
He does have
Advanced
TP
response.
and ultimate, and now G2, they're going to strike. They're starting the back.
Wunder, it's going to take a few seconds for him to clear this wave. Is it enough time for G2 to take this objective? Razork, is it your turn to steal something away? To buy a bit of time, to buy a bit of hope for
melting.
Fnatic? It's gone. Is he going to make it over the wall? Can he get it in time? But no. Jankos, steady hand, secures the objective. BrokenBlade potentially ready for a fight here. Can they burst him down before it kicks off? Upset off to the side. Wunder just now into the midst of everything. The feathers have flown. Now the pullback from Flakked will be big. Razork caught out. Caps off to the side has found the pick. G2 striding through Fnatic. Cannot afford to overstep. It's the 3 carries of Fnatic left standing strong.
Here comes Jankos.
Fishing for the pick, but the
there
damage
goes
is
Jankos.
big.
TP in the base.
TP buying time. Wunder finishing it off. That's 1 bullet. Caps off on the flank. Goes in. He steals away the cooldowns. Upset ready to fight, though. Upset ready to fight for his life, as this could be the final exchange. The lockdown is there. Targamas will drop. Upset with the extra range. Is it enough?
Wunder.
Caps still standing. Oh, here it comes. One more shot. He's not even going to need it. Humanoid finishing it with the laser. Caps dashing out to safety. What is even happening in this game?
Caps has the audacity to emote in that play and even get away with his life. It is G2 that walk away with the Baron. The kills are 2 for 2. The blood in this game does not cease. But Fnatic, they still hold on to their base.
37 kills, 37 minutes, neither team giving a second to the other. G2 instantly start the Baron, not even flinching. Top wave was pushing in. Wunder managed to clear out a little bit of the wave, but then Razork sees an angle, I think, after Hylissang backs away to get a 3-man ultimate, but he goes way too deep at the start of this fight, instantly dies. So Fnatic are playing almost like a 4v5 from the get-go. Hylissang's dead as well, so Caps being low helped out a bit, but his TP back was so important.
The Feathers positioning from Flakked was massive there, because if Upset was able to follow up on the engage from Razork, then they may very well have been able to win the fight. But he just couldn't.
Caught out here is going to try to re-engage on his own terms, but he's already gone down. It's a big barrel. Hylissang still standing. That's the Xayah's, baby, but Jankos is going to finish the job. That's a pick, and is it going to be enough? 2 minutes. Won't matter too much for the big objectives, but there's pressure on the bottom side in favor of G2 as they look to leverage this Baron buff.
Caps had to base, though. He was extremely low after that play, and he has no TP. He's going to move towards mid for now, but it's going to be a 4v4 on the bot side of the map. We'll see if Fnatic can clear out this wave to hold on a little bit. Baron buff up for another minute for G2.
Eyes need to be on Humanoid and Upset as we get into the final phases of this game. They are the two big carries for Fnatic. They have the damage. Of course, the barrels are always going to be scary if they're able to land, but if you're going to rely on anyone, it's Humanoid and Upset at this point in the game.
Caps splitting big damage back onto Wunder. Lethality Xayah absolutely lethal if you get caught by those feathers. Caps going to break the free tier 2. Wave coming in on bot lane. It's going to be desynced. Fnatic are going to have an opportunity to clear it without losing too much.
Hylissang is back alive, though, so now G2 don't have the numbers advantage. They have waves to work with on bot side, and Caps is moving into it. We'll see if they decide to go for a full dive, because it could be extremely dangerous. Almost 40 minutes into the game.
G2 know they can't risk. If they mess up one part of this dive, it will all collapse in the face of the Viktor, the GP, the Aphelios. They're taking their time. They're playing it slow.
Oh.
Big damage from Flakked.
G2 trying to play with poke. They've got the Mega Gnar Qs. They've got the QEs from Xayah. They're trying to push in waves, look for a pressure point, look for a tower to break Fnatic's base. Sorry, Elder in 40 seconds though. So G2 are just going to keep this up as long as possible, keep the waves into Fnatic's towers, and then just back straight to the Elder and rush it. So Fnatic needs to be on their feet. They need to be on their toes, ready to respond.
They have no vision on the map anywhere. Observers, if you could just highlight what Fnatic see right now, look at all the fog. There is so much control that G2 have, and this is exactly what you were talking about, Caedrel. Pressure, pressure, pressure from G2. They're trying to keep Fnatic locked in their base. Even if they try to respond to the Elder, it doesn't matter because they have to face check G2.
Now they have to be scared, but
Hylissang sidestep from BrokenBlade manages to make it out. Flakked now on a killing spree. Razork, he's in the midst of the entire team. The GP ult is big, but it's not going to be big enough. Upset laying down a massive ult, but it's all falling apart in the final moments. G2 tearing through Fnatic. This was their last chance, and they missed. It's a triple for Jankos. The follow-up is there. It is absolute dominance for G2 Esports in the final fight. 2-0, clean control. The final game close, but the quadra for Jankos, and the final game will seal the deal.
What a way to end it on this final game. A quadra kill for Jankos. What an outstanding performance from him and the rest of the members of G2. Clutch factors, early games, everything.
And in 2021, you thought they were washed, but you can well and truly say that G2 are back. The Jankos is back. The Claps is back as G2 head to the finals.
Who would have thought a 3-0 in favor of G2? This last game was extremely close, but the series wasn't.
And what a way, like that game, it felt like that Fnatic had won it. After that fight, after Wunder did what he did around that Drake fight, I thought that it was over. We were going to game 4.
Yeah.
But G2 just play after play after play. They were relentless. They were unforgiving. And we will have G2 versus Rogue in our final.
Wow.
They have not met so far in playoffs.
It's incredible again. Remember the story for G2, the rebuilding for the first time since their 2016 split.
Oh, they're going to do it. Here it comes.
Revenge, a dish best served cold. Get the signature celebration. Tempted to walk towards the trophy, but not theirs yet.
It was last year that Fnatic knocked G2 out of Worlds. It was just a few weeks ago that Fnatic... It was Fnatic that knocked G2 into the lower bracket. And now G2 finally gets some revenge with a swift 3-0 over Fnatic. Remember, this roster was favored to win the whole thing. They were expected to be in the finals at the very least, if not to win it all. And now it is G2 that will meet Rogue in our finals.
Yeah, it's not Fnatic, it's not Vitality, it's not Mad Lions.
Super teams be damned.
Super teams be damned. Rogue, the rebuild, working out phenomenally. G2, the rebuild, doing wonders. Two teams who came together this season, rising to the top of the standings. And this is a look I never thought we'd see, but they're doing it. The responsible social distance high five. They found a way, and it's big brain tech like this that keeps them going forward.
I think you're completely right. It feels like Spring Split is just the split of Rebirth, right?
Sure.
The Rebirth.
Of course, they have to high five the casters.
You can't see it, but it doesn't matter. We're doing it anyway.
One impressive run. What was that? 3-0, 3-0, 3-0?
Yep.
Is that a 9-0?
They're 9-0 in their last 9 games in playoffs. The lower bracket run. Unstoppable. And we've got a Rogue who looked defeated after the first 2 games against Fnatic, but then bounced back. We've seen a different version of Rogue on mentality, on a mental side.
Oh, that finals is going to be high.
And we've got G2 who's just bouncing back straight through the entire lower bracket. So both these teams are in their top form.
And we've got a G2 who we expected to be a topside team, proving they're a 5-man roster. Everyone in this roster can be massive. But on the opposite side for Rogue, they've also shown us so much they developed. They've shown us that they can be clutch, that they can come back in a losing best of 5. 2 teams who have undergone such a massive evolution.
And you know that Fnatic is going to feel unbelievably frustrated with this. Like, Yamato made it very clear that not winning would be a failure from his perspective, you know? Especially when you look at the strength of the roster, you look at their achievements during the regular season, especially even in the first half of playoffs, expectations were that they were like, I mean, they were so close to 3-0 in Rogue, you know? So to see them now to fall short, especially to their rivals in G2, I don't think anyone expected that. And I think that the team is going to be super frustrated with how their season ended.
Certainly. And as you highlighted, spring has been full of surprises. But you now have a special opportunity, those of you at home or in the studio. Key player of the series, at LEC on Twitter, Jankos, Caps, Targamas. Those are your 3 options. All good choices, incredibly dominant series. And I'm just ready to see what the ceiling is going to look like for all of these teams.
That's
at the
very
top.
Valorant versus Jankos, Larson versus Caps. It's
Everyone's in their final form.
Yeah. Like, we're just gearing up for that one big final fight.
versus Jankos.
Brothers.
8 players in that final don't have a title.
Yeah, that's actually insane. Of 10. Only Caps and Jankos.
Yeah, only Caps and Jankos have a title.
In the LEC. Yeah.
That is crazy.
Absolutely insane. Well, G2, they're moving on to face off against Rogue in the finals tomorrow. For now, let's hear from the victorious Targamas live on stage.
Thank you, Drakos. Targamas, congrats. Please, round of applause for G2 here today. 3-0, back to back in the loser bracket. So I want to know, what was your understanding of Fnatic coming here today? What did you expect from them?
Well, I think we just expected like that they're gonna play TF again, and that they're just gonna do the same as they were doing last week, because it's kind of weird when you're losing the games and you just keep doing the same. I think it kind of shows that you're maybe not capable of playing that much stuff.
I see.
So I think we're kind of expecting at least them to play the TF again in game 1, and then after that, I just think we had so much momentum from the series before, and then the fact that we were like kind of smashing them. So yeah, I think we kind of expected what they were doing.
All right. Well, I want to say, if the earpiece is bothering you, you can just take it off.
It's
fine. Well, continuing on that, you mentioned the momentum that you guys are riding going to the loser bracket. How much did you benefit from this run? And also the fact that you could get eliminated every time you were playing.
Well, I think we just learned a lot from the first time we played Fnatic. I think they had better draft than us, probably. Like when you don't play for 3 weeks and there's a new patch, there's always like some new stuff coming out, and then it's kind of like you don't really know what the enemy team is going to do, so it's kind of a flip who is going to get like the better read on the meta. And I think they had like better read on which champs were actually more OP than the others, than us. So we just learned a lot from that series. Also, I think even if we lost, it gave us a lot of confidence, because we felt like we could win all of those games, like actually pretty easily, and it was more on us. I mean, that's always what you say, that it's on you when you lose, but we really felt like if we're just playing like a tiny bit better, we just smash them, like if we were to meet again. So it just gave us a lot of confidence actually losing this series.
It's nice to have fans again in the studio. But talking about your run overall, you were playing for your life every time, especially after you lost against Fnatic. Do you think playing under pressure helped you?
I don't really mind personally. I think every time we're playing a best of 5, you always have like 3 lives. So it's like less stressful than playing best of 1 for me, because I know that if if I mess up something, then I'm gonna have another game. So I think everyone in the team just feels this way. I think it's just way more comfortable to play the best of 5. And like we're actually never in a losing position. So ever since we're in the loser bracket, we didn't lose a single game. So we actually never got really stressed in a series.
Riding the momentum here. And we could see the improvements on the side of G2, especially from the bot lane. I know this is something that has been mentioned. Do you think you peaked now in playoffs, or can we expect a different beast tomorrow in the finals?
I think we're finally showing like the kind of scream G2 that we had for the whole split. Like, I don't know, we just enjoy playing the game together. We just have fun on stage. I also think that recently our read on the meta was pretty good. So yeah, I'm just very confident going into tomorrow. I think Rogue also showed that they're a good team. And they taught us a few things as well in scrims when we played them in the last weeks. So yeah, it's going to for sure be, I think, more close than the past 3 series.
All right. Give me more about the finals, though. What can we expect tomorrow, and how do you think it's going to play out?
I think since we've been screaming a lot each other for the past weeks, we kind of know like what the other team wants to do and how they like to draft and how they like to play. So it's gonna be fun. I don't think we had to show that much stuff today, since we played on red side all 2 games and we just won 3-0. So I don't know. I think it's gonna be fun because also like their bot lane is like really good as well, and I think they play more different stuff than Fnatic did. Especially Trimby plays way more support, and yeah, I just think it's gonna be for sure a different type of games.
Okay, give me a hint. I know you've been hovering Nasus a lot in draft. Can we expect any spicy picks from you tomorrow?
I mean, we never know, right? I think Trimby is also a Nasus adept, so we never know what might happen tomorrow.
Banger series ahead. Now, Targa, before I let you go, we have an audience today. We didn't have public since, I don't know, 2 years. Is there anything you would like to say to them? A lot of people were cheering for you. You even have some K-Corp jerseys here.
Yeah, I mean, for sure it feels really good. There's also some French fans and some K-Corp fans from last year that are in the audience. I don't know what they're doing in Germany, but they came, I guess. So yeah, just thank you to everyone who came here. Thank you to everyone who's supporting online, and we're gonna make you guys proud tomorrow.
Well, thank you for the interview, Targamas. Congrats again on reaching finals. Give it one more time, please, for G2 and Targamas. And we have more to cover about today's series with PGL, Sjokz, Caps, and Jankos. Take it away.
Even the biggest champ needs a break.